Relationships, an awesome topic and a wonderful trigger point for many, many people who I've had chats with, clients, friends, family, and the like. I firmly believe, and anyone who knows me would know this to be true, that relationships that we have are the foundation of our lives themselves. And if we have amazing relationships, we'll have an amazing life. If we have terrible relationships, then we're going to have a really frustrating, annoying, and possibly a bit of a shitty life. So let's just, I figured that I'd share two of the models, which have been super impactful for me in terms of improving the relationships I have in my life. And now I'm not just talking about intimate relationship with your spouse. I'm talking about with all relationships, friends, family, co-workers, colleagues, acquaintances, people you don't really sort of even know and you're kind of around them. Your connection with everyone will impact the experience that you have in your life. So let's then talk about the way that you might be connecting with those people. So the first model is based on, are you pursuing connection or disconnection? And the concept goes that you're always going to be pursuing one or the other. You're always going to be either pursuing connection, moving towards someone, wanting to connect with them, smiling, opening your eyes, listening to everything they say because you actually genuinely want to hear what they have to say as well. Asking them questions about their day, being really curious and playful. Those are all examples of pursuing connection. Then the flip side is pursuing disconnection. And if you're pursuing disconnection, you're moving backwards. You're becoming a bit defensive. You're attacking them for what they're doing, or you're just completely cutting them off entirely, or you're attacking them as who they are. These are all examples of when you're pursuing disconnection. And ironically, if you're not pursuing connection, then it will be disconnection. So if you're not moving towards someone, then it means that you're not going to be able to move closer towards them. They're going to end up moving further away. So once I had this model in my head, in my mind, I realized, well, then I really need to understand, how do I pursue connection versus how do I pursue disconnection? The second model which I was talking about, which I feel is really helpful, is John Gottman's 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. These 4 horsemen are criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. And these are the ways which you truly become defensive and they destroy relationships. Which you clearly are using to pursue disconnection and they destroy relationships. Now, I'd like to sort of dig into each of these a little bit clearly to make sure that they're a little bit clearer. Firstly, when we're talking about criticism, what you're doing is you're attacking someone else. You're attacking someone's behavior and the things that they're doing, and you're saying that the things that you're doing just aren't good enough. This is all your fault. It's attacking them. The next part is defensiveness. And that's usually when you feel like you're being attacked. And what you end up saying is, no, I'm not the problem. The problem's not me. Don't blame me. Really, you're the problem. And they'll go back on the offensive. Which means ultimately defensiveness is another way of criticism. It's another way to be critical of someone else because you're saying if there's a problem and the problem's not me, then it must be you. The third is contempt. And that's instead of attacking someone's actions and someone's behavior, what you're ending up doing is actually attacking their character, their sense of self, who they are. When you're attacking who someone is, it really gets right down to the bone, and that's when all those triggers really start coming up. That's when the big fights really start happening. John Gottman actually says that seeing contempt is the 95% indicator of whether or not a relationship is going to break down. And he's had a scientific approach. He knows his stuff, right? The fourth one is stonewalling, and that's where you just basically shut off. And we've all had those long car rides, and then you end up in a fight, and then one person just stops talking to the other person entirely, just completely shuts off. There's literally stonewalling. Can't see me anymore, don't talk to me, whatever you say, it just goes through one ear, one out the other, not engaging at all. And this is another example of pursuing disconnection. It might seem like it's okay to be putting up barriers and boundaries in that sense, But if you put up a boundary in such a way that it's pursuing more disconnection, then you're going to have more disconnection in the relationship. So learning how to deal with these and learning how to connect with others in a much more effective way, rather than going to these defaults of, well, you're wrong, or I'm not wrong, it must be you, or in fact, it's actually who you are and you always do this kind of stuff, or I'm not talking to you, I just can't hear a single thing that you're saying, I don't care. I don't care at all. Maybe we just should never have been together in the first place. They're all examples of pursuing disconnection, and by being aware of them, it's the very first step towards being able to resolve those and resolve the challenges which come up from them, and then to be able to pursue more connection in your life. So the question I pose to you then is, when in your life and when in your relationships have you seen these four horsemen come up? And were you being critical? Were you being defensive? Were you having contempt for them and attacking their character? Or were you just blocking off from them entirely? And how did they respond to it when you did those things? Did it improve the relationship by acting in that way? Or was it pursuing disconnection and therefore impacting the experience you have in life? So I just thought I'd share those 2 points, those two concepts. They're really cool concepts. You can take days and weeks to dive into them to really understand it in depth. But just becoming slightly aware of it might have the chance of completely improving your life. Give it a shot.